here with Ashleigh from the Kingham Plough. Kingham Plough is actually, even before your time, our first customer that we ever had in the Cotswolds. So we've been doing the Kingham Plough since I was delivering an old Clio, beat up Clio with the back down, probably 15 years now, so for a long time. And before then, actually, we used to do the Kingham Plough with Barrington Park Estate, which is where I used to work. That was a company I set up for someone else, and I did it before that. So we've been doing the Kingham Plough for 20 years. But this young lady has now made it a prize-winning place again, which is amazing. I saw your award the other day, and she also has our eggs.
Yeah, love them.
What do you like about them?
They're always fresh. You can poach out a tray of 30, you'll be able to poach 30. The yolk's really rich. If you're making pasta, the yolks actually dye the colour. You can see the quality of the egg. They're egg whited round, they're always fresh. You deliver once a week. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Do you look into the welfare of the birds at all?
Massively. It's part of our ethos with all of our suppliers is the welfare of the animal, the supply chain, the locality. And we massively just want to get a great quality produce and do as little to it as we can and then see what we can make.
I think with one of the reasons I've never spoke to you about it, we use Four Seasons, is because for us, we concentrate so much on welfare. And there's so much involved in these smaller sheds. So these are only 1,000 bird sheds, rare breed chickens. So in here, you've actually got the Arlington Whites, the Morans and the Araucanas. So this is a mixed flock of birds that produces green eggs, blue eggs, brown eggs and white eggs. The reason we use Four Seasons for you is we just spend, I think that sometimes our delivery is not the best because it's our second, we're so concentrating on the welfare of the chickens here that we think that with Four Seasons at least you can get a box of our eggs, the next day.
Yeah.
And they are also fresh. They pick up 2 to 3 times a week from us, so you're getting a good date on them. And they do a good job of that, and we do a good job of producing the eggs, and I think it is a good match, really.
No, it's great. Four Seasons have that ethos throughout everything as well, with even their fruit and veg coming in. Sometimes they have someone on the phone in the evening, which is great, and they'll say, we don't have any, the quality wasn't good, and they've rejected it. Yeah. And then I'm able to decide what my alternative will be, whether I'm going to order something else, whether I have enough for a few days. But I'd much rather not have a product if it's poor quality and use something else or go without it for a few days until we can get that quality we're looking for.
Yeah, strange owner though, isn't he?
Yeah, weird guy.
Yeah.
Morning, Franco.
Morning, Franco. Morning, chefs.
Morning, chefs.
Yeah. Yeah, so they all come on the belts from here. So one of the ways you can tell a shed how big it is by how many belts come out the wall. So if you have a multi-tier, you have lots of different belts. So this has just one egg belt, a very small egg belt. This whole shed is mobile, the floor lifts up, can go to fresh ground, which means we don't have to use antibiotics to treat the birds as it's called foul ground, so the ground gets kind of like full of disease. Yeah. But you can see how small it is, and then we just have manual collecting, so all the sorting goes on here. Then it goes back down to the egg room. They're graded on a grader, so you can see if there's any cracks in them. And then these eggs are packed up today, and then are out today. We don't actually hold any. Our egg room's quite small because we don't have any stock. We never have any stock. The most stock we have is over a weekend, which is 2 days. But then it's all gone by. They packed all that out, those eggs, by 10 o'clock, and they're off. So we've never had a lot of stock. We're always waiting for eggs to come in, and I think that's kind of a good thing because in a funny sort of way, it gives you a really fresh egg. Yeah. If we had too many birds and we didn't have that system, eggs would be 5-6 days old, and like you said, you'd have trouble with poaching and things like that. So one of the things that people maybe don't know is that most of the flavour does come from the food. Yeah. So it is kind of goes through the chicken. So the colour of the yolk, for example, is stored in the fat of the bird, so it's quite important. What type of fat you put in the bird to get that colour into them, so that gives you a nice bright yolk. But the flavour comes from the materials in the food, so if you've got wheat, if you've got grass, maize, or whatever you use in the diet, and that gives you the flavour, the richness. One of the things I learned at college was feed formulation, and it did take me probably 2 to 3 years to formulate the right diet to give you the flavour that you have now. And I think one of the most important things, I don't know if you agree, is the flavour of our eggs, not actually the brightness. Yeah. They're rich, aren't they? Yeah, they're rich. Yeah. They taste great. I reckon in a blindfolded taste test, you'd be able to pick them out. Well, with the colour, we colour our eggs aren't coloured, so we use natural products to make them bright. But actually, in the industry, you can have a bright yolk from a cage system. Yeah. The colour of the yolk is irrelevant. there's a thing called a roast scale, and all the farmer does is choose the colour they want or the brightness of the yolk, and then they put a pigment in the diet and it gives you the colour. The flavour is a lot harder to do, but we don't use a pigment, and so we do it all naturally. That's why probably sometimes you do see a bit of change in the colour of our yolks. It's not perfect, but if you use pigment, they're always bang on the colour.
Yeah.
But that doesn't show a healthy chicken.
No.
It just shows that you put something into the diet.
Yeah.
But with us, with our feed formulation, we've done it we have 3 diets. They're all called Cackleberry Farm diets. They're made just down the road in Enston.
Oh,
so
wow.
just locally down the road.
Good.
And they get delivered twice a week to us fresh. So that's a little bit about diets, really. So one of the good things about the rearing is that at this age you can get the behaviourism into them. So you could, if you notice the lights are bright, we're stood here, they're not that bothered about it.
Yeah.
It means that when the birds go into lay, they will be less stressed about things like aeroplanes going over and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in the olden days, people used to just creep around in dark sheds, not making any noise with their pullets, but we at Cackleberry Farm, we basically make a lot of noise and get them used to all of that. The other thing is we can feed them on good food. So when you buy a pullet in, usually, like everyone, they've got to do it to cost.
Yeah.
Whereas here we give them the best that we can possibly afford, so they get the best food to make them a good size, gives them good evenness. And then the other thing is, a friend of mine came along the other day and he said it's a good thing because you're giving them the local bugs as well. So you're not bringing a bird in, say from Cornwall, and putting it into this area, because you've got the older birds there, if you can have a look there, and the younger birds there, which most people would say would be impossible to do because of disease. These younger birds are picking up the immunity from the older birds, and it means that you don't have to use so much medication when they're older and things like this. And this is also where we vaccinate them as well. So one of the big questions you get asked is about salmonella all the time from the EHO, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Well, we do 3 vaccinations in here for ENT, and this is also now a Laid in Britain farm, so this gives you the security of like Laid in Britain to show that our eggs are salmonella free. So that's important as well. So we're Salsa and Laid in Britain.
Yeah.
So this is where we pack all the eggs. So these are the eggs that you'll get, or these are brown.
Yep.
And then here you've got the pre-packs. Small eggs there, they go to breaking, so we don't send any. You know where you still always grumble about our small eggs? Well, we don't have small eggs anymore. We send them to the breakers. One of the interesting facts about eggs at the moment, it is true, the price of eggs has gone up a lot, and you used to only get kind of 20p a dozen for an egg that was broken and used for like pasteurising, but now the breakers pay £1.60.
Really?
Just because I think because of bird flu and things like that, there are more sheds going up and the egg prices come down on free range. But at the moment it's so good still that you can get just as much money for breaking an egg as you can sell it into a shop, I suppose.
Worthwhile.
So these are all the Arlington Whites that have come in. You know that we have different farms now.
Yeah.
So you can always tell. On our local deliveries, we always use all the eggs from our local farm.
Yeah.
Also, on the pre-packs, they're always from Cackleberry Farm as well. So basically all your eggs come from this farm. And then you have them packing all the eggs. It's all done by hand still. This is where we do all the pre-packs. So these are the eggs that are getting specifically coloured to go to some of the shops in London. Steph is making the boxes. They're all made by hand. And then everything's kind of done in here. It's a very small room, I know, but we don't really have very many eggs.
Yeah.
It kind of comes in and out so quickly.
They come, they pack and they go.
Yeah, they go. So all of these will be off to London tonight. And all your eggs are being delivered today. So there we go.
They got delivered this morning on my way out.
There we go, perfect. So this is my little office.
It's lovely.
This used to be the main office, but it's not anymore. On the board, obviously you know we have more than one farm, but they're all we run them all, are our Laid in Britain certificates. So basically this shows to you, the chef, that our eggs are safe for pregnant ladies. It shows that we vaccinate, and we also use a product called Avigard, which helps the gut deter any salmonella that goes into the chicken. A few years ago, it's quite interesting, it was just Lion, but now Laid in Britain, if you look closely in your EHO manual, which is about that big, it has now a new paragraph for Laid in Britain. So Laid in Britain and Lion prove that your eggs are safe for pregnant people to eat and children or anyone. The other thing that we have here is a salsa. So salsa is not a sauce, it's actually to do with due diligence of how you process your packing. So recalls, if you have a problem with the eggs, which sometimes you might have a problem with the eggs, or hopefully not. The one great thing about salsa, which links into Four Seasons as well, Four Seasons are also salsa accredited, which means the process of having your eggs laid by a chicken, packed here, all the way to the door, till it touches your doorstep, means that you're salsa accredited all the way, which shows, it just shows the process has been good, because you know, someone could leave the eggs out in the sun, or someone could not put them at the right temperature, and then you could ring me up and say, Paddy, your eggs are only a week old and they've gone off. We know that if we are all salsa accredited, and with your strict hygiene that you do at your work as well, we're covered all the way to the end user, which gives you, I hope, that kind of...
It's really important that you have that traceability throughout the food chain. I mean, touch wood, nobody wants anything to happen, but if the food chain has been contaminated, you need to know at what area it's been affected.
Yeah, well, when we used to not have Laid in Britain or salsa in the early days, I was always a bit against it. You know, just because I'd been in the big industry, and I was like, oh, what do I need it for? But in the end, you know, I think the way these certifications have gone, I think they've allowed people like small producers like myself, and smaller restaurants like yourselves, and smaller people delivering to you, to be able to get that credibility of a larger company and still keep the smallness of the business as well. So, you know, hopefully it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
There's some eggs for you.
Thank you, I'll get cooking.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Right, we're back here at the Kingham Plough, got my box of eggs. We are going to cook a eggs benedict now, so we can showcase how to make hollandaise, and then showcase how well the eggs do actually poach. So, fresh from the farm. Let's get a tray out. Get the box out of the way. So one way at home, if you're struggling to poach eggs, quite often it's the freshness of the egg. So if you crack your egg onto a plate, you can see how fresh it is. So basically you've got the thicker egg white around the yolk. That's what's going to poach. So if you have lots of this thinner egg white, that means your eggs are quite old, and that quite often is the sort of egg white that floats around in the pan that makes it really hard to poach. So we've got some lovely fresh eggs here. We're going to start by making our hollandaise sauce. So I've got a block of butter that I've clarified, so that's just when you melt it slowly and the buttermilk separates at the bottom. We need 3 egg yolks. Need a bowl for my egg whites. So we're going to separate our eggs. So we make hollandaise fresh every day for breakfast, and then fresh every day for our béarnaise we serve with our steaks. So we've got 3 egg yolks there. Egg whites we save, we try and not waste anything, so we use that to make meringue or as a garnish. I'm going to wash my hands quickly. And then, as Paddy said, back at the farm, because they are got salsa and they're laid in Britain, it's obviously safe to use these for hollandaise because it is kept at room temperature. So we're going to put our eggs just on simmering water in a bain-marie. I'm going to put a bit of, this is Chardonnay vinegar, you can do a vinegar reduction. It's just a bit sweeter and a bit less harsh than sort of normal white wine vinegar you'll find. And we're now going to cook this out whilst whisking. And it's going to make a sabayon. These eggs are great for making hollandaise because, as we were saying about the flavour and how rich they are, hollandaise is basically butter and eggs, so it's important you have a good quality egg. So if our water gets too hot, we're just going to take the bowl off. We don't want this to scramble, we just want it to thicken up. You can do this in a machine, but you just get a lot more air by doing it by hand. Once your eggs have thickened up, they're lighter in colour because we've whisked a lot of air into them. We're going to start to whisk the butter in. I'm just going to put my tea towel underneath my bowl to stop it from slipping. So we're just going to slowly stream our butter in and emulsify it. Right, so now we've got a lovely thick hollandaise sauce. We're going to season that with some salt and lemon juice. I'm going to have to dash off camera for that. Season this with some lemon juice and a pinch of salt. So this is one of your mother sauces. So this can be used to then make a béarnaise. So with steaks, I'm gonna get a spoon so I can taste that. Probably shouldn't dip my little fingy in it, should I? Just check it for seasoning. Bit more salt. So it should have a nice richness, nice acidity. So now we've got our hollandaise made. We're now gonna poach our eggs and toast our muffins. So we make our breakfast muffins on site, which is really nice. Breakfast is the last meal before our guests leave us, so it's really important that it's good. It's their lasting memory of what we've given them. So they're again a bit of inconsistencies, but they are fresh made, so they're lovely. I'm going to chuck these over to the guys to toast them. Right, poaching our eggs. So we've got our fresh eggs in our water. We just want to see little bubbles in the bottom of our pan. Every chef's got their own way of doing it. Some of them swirl it up. There is some white wine vinegar in this pan. You can just use the cheap stuff. This stuff's expensive and it's delicious, so you don't need to waste it in your poaching pan. When you've got little bubbles on the bottom of your pan, that's when you drop your eggs in. And if you've got fresh eggs, you can just drop them in your pan. Again, every chef's got their own way. Some swirl it around. You don't want to overcrowd your pan. And then you just leave it simmering for 3 minutes. That's how we do them here. There are obviously other ways. Muffins nicely toasted. We're just going to check our eggs. A little bit longer. Didn't actually set a timer. Okay, so start building our plate. We've got our toasted muffin. Got some lovely fresh honey roast ham. So we make this roast the ham in-house. Gammon from Paddy Farm, so it's rare breed Tamworth pigs. Absolutely lovely. As we say, it's all about that farm to restaurant. And then we've got some lovely from Four Seasons fresh in today. We've got some red amaranth and we've got some micro red rain sorrel. So that'll just be a nice garnish, bring colour to the plate at the end. Okay, poached eggs, when they've got a nice little wobble, they're good to go. And then as you can see in the pan, because these eggs are fresh, it's not leaving all that sort of egg white residue behind. And I can tell you from experience, having good quality eggs makes a massive difference. Okay, so to serve, we're going to put our eggs on top. We've got our fresh hollandaise sauce. You can see the colour of our hollandaise sauce, and the taste means it's got that lovely fresh eggs in it. Nice amount on top. Finish with our micros. Just add some colour back to it. There we go. That's an Eggs Benedict.